for the top right there. It's a very alphabetical rack. But it looks like we'll be getting the racks displayed not as a camera image, but let us see typed in. It will be a pretty big help for us watching and commentating. Hello, hello, out in Twitchland.
I wonder who's typing that rack right now.
It's probably, I think XP is doing the annotating. It might be Ed also. XP does in fact rule, and he will bingo with Sex Slurp.
So it looked like they drew an E and an F to go first. Is it Evans who's going first here?
I think
it looks like it's.
Yep, I think Irving's Clunchy is going to be starting us off. And Evans has begun the game.
Well, he's got 3 bingos there I can think of. That would be Ostiate, Toasty, and Odiist.
Yep, right, yeah.
Oh, am I looking at Jesse's rack there at the top?
Yeah. Evans is on the bottom, and it sounds like he played something for 34, either Hoved or Hovel, I think. Halved.
Yep.
Halved.
There's a bit of a lag.
There's a lag between the audio we hear from the site and the video that we hear, and then there's another lag between our commentary, which we're responding to the video being broadcast, and our audio being put out to the Twitch stream. So yeah, Jesse has the 3 7s on his rack, all of which play.
Mm-hmm.
He's got total eyes through the L as well.
They does score a little bit less though.
Mm-hmm.
So positionally, it something like Odiist seems fine.
Yeah, Odiist is the safest of the bingos there because Toasty, of course, takes the S and the R.
Yep, and Odiist still scores the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems likely to be the play among Jesse's choices. And it will it'll leave open the spot for Evans to play Yakona.
Sure, he'll appreciate.
And here comes Odiist.
Lovely tile shuffling noises.
As he's taking some time to make sure he's moving quickly, and he has.
And down goes Odiist in the determined spot. Now,
Evans does have a couple of choices.
Yeah, he has. It's interesting. He has the cue and some stuff to do with it.
He has Quays to the S as one possibility here.
He does. That is a little bit lower scoring, but it does keep a more balanced leave.
Yeah, playing off the U as well is helpful. I mean, Yakona's a good play, but you do leave CUN, or
Yeah.
CU rather.
Let's play Yankee, keeping CO. Slightly less balanced, 2 points more.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's another possibility. It does keep the Y.
So I'm inclined to want to keep the C with the N, while I like Quay's a little better than Yankee, but they're both pretty good plays.
Yeah. Quays also disrupts that 8L spot, whereas something like Yankee is going to leave that 8L hotspot open to the triple. So it kind of makes sense to, and the S as one of the, more volatile lanes. So for that reason, Quays is probably going to be.
I think this early in the game, you really need to be thinking about maximizing your chances of building to a bingo quickly while the board is wide open. And that CON is pretty good synergy there and has some good floaters to play with. For instance, the H and the I.
$36 points, I think.
I'm getting some lag here. I can't see what he played yet.
Yeah, we heard a score. I haven't seen the play yet, though.
It was Yankee.
Or there was one. Yeah, he went with Yankee.
So we went with Yankee, keeping the C for its, it does have synergy with the H on the board.
Yeah, one thing to be said about Quays is that it allowed some parallel plays next to the Q on the N column. Although I think I still would have slightly preferred it, but they're both very good plays.
Mm-hmm. Now, looks like Jesse has good options here.
Some strong things to do with the Z.
Yep.
Or with the Z, depending on where you're listening to us from. There is there's the ads spot. There's Zunal through the N in Yankee, which top scores, I think, but
It does top score, but it leaves that Z there in that triple line.
It puts the Z in a precariously open spot for a cheap 40-point play.
I did just check on Quackle, by the way, and Yankee and Quays were the top two recommended plays there by the static move generator, and Quays was slightly higher than Yankee, but it was not a big difference.
Yeah, we've got Quackle running as well.
Yeah, so Jesse is going to score 45 to 50 points with the Z here. It's just a question of which direction he wants to go in. Probably something like Zoo and ads is the safest, but there's other options. I don't think static on Quackle is useless. I think it can be useful, but you have to be entirely aware of what it's telling you, and what it's not telling you. It's basically just telling you score plus leave, and there's a lot more that goes into evaluating a position, and static evaluator isn't telling you what the best play is, obviously, because it's not taking any positional or inferences into consideration.
Oh, I agree, Chris. But at the same time, I would also argue that in a early open board position like this, the static evaluator is actually going to be fairly close to the truth.
Right. There's not a whole lot of positional things to add to your straight equity calculation when trying to figure out the best play in a spot like Yankee versus Quays.
Yeah, it looks like he opted for Zoo, which makes sense. And yes, Jeremy Guayak does certainly seem to clean things. It does leave a couple vowels.
So I see some plays with Guayak to clean that rack up pretty nicely.
Yeah, Guayac through the C.
Mm-hmm.
Or through the A.
Yeah, Guayac through the A does keep IO.
So it scores most through the A in Yankee, I think. And I'm noticing that Jesse already has Iliad as a bingo in his rack, which is going to go very nicely to make ADZE.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah, that's gonna cross the Y. It'll be a pretty big score.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So he's playing Guayac for slightly fewer points rather than through the A in Yankee, perhaps because he was concerned about the double-double or wants to open the bottom part of the board.
Yeah.
And Iliad comes down very quickly.
That does leave this beautiful spot for Iliad, which is down, of course.
So yeah, this puts Evans in a rough situation. The current score is Jesse at 210 and Evans at 88. And the board is still fairly open. There's stuff that can be done, lanes to use. So it's not panic time yet for Evans, but he really needs to hit something pretty quickly.
It's not panic time, but he also wants to be thinking about opening up the board more, possibly, rather than hitting the triple on the D and Iliad.
Yeah, if he makes a play through the D and Iliad, it's going to also want to develop the bottom few rows of the board.
Yep, Noob could find Jeremy. Noob is going down.
And he just takes points and leave. Like I said, there's still lanes open. There's an A and an N as a floater. Guayac will take a mouse if Evans can pull it. So
of course, Jesse does now have another bingo.
So we hear that Jesse is holding Noob, I believe.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, he is holding Noob. We're checking it. What a noob.
In an ironic turn of events, Jesse is holding Noob.
Noob was added in 2012 to CSW. Yep. And he accepts the play.
Remember that Jesse is not a natural Collins player.
And there is the other spelling of noob with the W. So lots of similar stuff, and it's worth taking a moment to consider your options before if you deciding if you want to donate a nickel to the cause or not.
He decided not to, it appears.
And Jesse accepts the play.
Should be laying down his own bingo post haste.
Yep. And he quickly finds his bingo of Alias, the anagram of Levities.
Wow, and that gives Evans interact.
Yep.
Which I assume Evans will play immediately.
And he barely had finished turning the board before it went down. The board was still in motion when the tiles started coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game. Interrex goes down for 119.
And it is getting challenged. Oh, no, sorry, it was not getting challenged. It was agreeing on score.
Did it end up being challenged or not?
No,
No.
sorry. They stopped the clock. They're just talking about score.
They're verifying the score, it looks like.
So I have 273 for Jesse to 235 for Evans now.
Yep. That's what we've got. Yes, it is exciting to see the clock start and stop again. It's high action.
Yeah.
We have no racks for either player.
A lot of stop and go. Scrabble.
So yeah, Interx really brought Evans back in the game when it was looking pretty hopeless for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and the board is still quite open. There's lanes at the bottom. There's lanes at the top. So,
that is an unfortunate draw for Jesse right now.
Plenty of opportunity for Evans to make a comeback from here.
You say it's an unfortunate draw, but you also can't expect to have a great rack every turn, and often the toughest racks are going to be right after you played a bingo.
I often revel in the randomness of post-bingo draws.
He's got, for instance, Wall to help him clear that up a little bit through the A and Yankee.
And positionally, Wall will be something like that would be fine.
He's also Vought VAWTE through the E. Sorry, Chris, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, so, something like Wall, restricts bingo lanes, and Jesse has essentially a bingo lead. Or the small bingo lead. So restricting lanes like that is going to be helpful for him.
Would you say it'd be better to restrict up there or down low through the E playing vaulted?
So I think the E is slightly more dangerous, but I think the other thing is that there's more open letters up by Yankee, whereas E's the only really open one down there. So making a closing play up there does close more lanes at once. But to some extent, you also have to play your rack. And let's see. Probably keeping the L rather than the T with the D is slightly better.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for vaulted moving an extra tile.
Oh, yeah, vaulted is even better, too. You're right.
Or vaulted or walled.
Yeah.
On the bottom. A couple extra tiles versus wall up top.
So if he plays vaulted, WL, even though W is not a great tile, it does have relatively good synergy with the L. Whereas if he plays walled, he's leaving VT, which is pretty negative synergy. A better spot for Wall down there off the X.
Yeah, so he plays Wall down at the bottom, which, scores much better, and it's important to keep the scoring pressure on. It has the drawback of leaving both the lanes at the top and the bottom of the board open. But since there's two separate areas open, if Evans hits one of them, then the board isn't shut down. Still, plenty of volatility, plenty of points to be taken out of the board.
So I'm totally happy with a play like Wall. One of the reasons being that it does create places to keep scoring atop the X, although his opponent beat him to it here. And one of the things about it is when you're playing with a lead, you often want to keep the board with places where you can get a lot of mid-scoring plays, so that even if the opponent hits bingos, you're going to keep your distance. Let's see.
Looks like Evans played Fa pretty quickly. So now we're looking at Jesse with a reasonably alphabetical rack.
And Jesse is currently up 30 points with the turn, so it's 307 to 272, 35 points plus the turn. So maintaining the steady lead after trading similarly scoring plays the last two turns. And
Yeah, FAA was just too many points to pass up. He needed to play there, but it did leave him with the duplicate eyes.
Yeah. Thankfully, most of the eyes are gone.
Bracted is, yeah, that's a possibility. It moves much of the rack.
Looks like he played Braved instead of Bracted.
Braved, yep.
Also, certainly saw yesterday the hazards of picking the bait wrong.
And it's a small point, but one thing to be said for Braved over Bracted is it doesn't create as much of an opening, whereas putting the B in the B lane in the B column would have allowed, for instance, BLE ending bingos.
Yep, that's an excellent point.
Yep, absolutely. One of the carved was suggested in the chat, and probably the argument against carved is that scarved is a new word, so it would open up an S hook that currently doesn't exist on.
Yeah, and the C is a better letter to keep than the B anyway, and he's not good enough of a lead. He still needs to play equity here to some extent. So I'm definitely in favor of Braved over Carved, Craved, that kind of thing.
And Evans takes My Eye, which is his top scoring, and Best Clean. One of his best cleaning plays.
So is that Strucken now through the N, I think is good. Let's see. Oh, Trucky is a word too, that's right.
He actually has a pretty awesome 92-point bingo. With Aya Mullen.
Trucky and Truckle.
Excellent find. See, hopefully Jesse will find him as well.
He's got enough bingos here. You got to think he's going to find one of them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if Jesse hits the 90-something point bingo up on the top, that could be the tournament right there. It's going to be really difficult for Evans to come back on a board that's quickly becoming unfriendly. And if even looking at Evans' rack, it's going to take him a turn or two at least to groom it into something worthwhile, during which time Jesse will undoubtedly be making the board even more unfriendly for Evans' hopes and dreams. Yeah, I believe Truckle is TWL. So yeah, even if he doesn't know or isn't 100% on Trucky, he'll know Truckle. It should be pretty solid mid-prob TWL knowledge. Jesse also has a poker nut through the end, which is
doesn't score as much. It is fun.
Yeah, I just checked. There's one other one there too. Truckmen.
Yep, Truckmen. There's also Struckmen.
Strucken.
Strucken, rather.
Yep.
Sorry. Coconut wins for most fun, but Trucky and Truckle certainly win for most points. And one of the downsides of Scrabble is that often you have to go with the points and not with the fun.
One of the challenging parts about being a top Scrabble player is having the discipline to turn down the fun when the points demand it.
The points are fun.
That's something we're all known for, is declining fun. We play to make sure we have as little fun as possible when we're out on the circuit.
Chris, did you say you are known for declining fun? Who am I talking to?
Quiet. These people might believe me.
Oh, so did I, Jeremy, actually. And Benji, I fully agree with you, as you know. Wait, how did that to me?
Yeah, he made the blank an L and is playing Truckle, I believe.
Trucky. Trucky, not Truckle.
Truckle. The blank is an L.
Okay. The same. He's waiting for dramatic excitement. I presume, Dev.
Evans holds as the tournament has been designated an L. There was a slight delay when they had to get a blank designation slip.
Sounds like he's making a desperation challenge.
Yeah.
It's, if you're in a situation where the only way to win the game is for something that is clearly good to be not good, it's often going to be worth throwing 5 points into the cause.
Yes, that's going to make it 429 to 306 after that challenge, it seems.
Yep, that's what we've got as well.
That's essentially the end of the game. Evans is down by 120. He needs 2 bingos to continue to be down a tempo, and there are only 12 tiles in the bag. So this it looks pretty dire from his point of view.
So this means that if Jesse hangs on, as it seems he's going to be the winner of the California Open Collins division.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse's fresh back from the Causeway Open. He's put together a solid performance here at the California Open. So, the unrelenting Scrabble machine that is Jesse Day continues to pound all comers into submission. There is another blank unseen, but the situation in the game is so dire it probably won't help Evans too much, even if he were to draw it. It would be the difference between a 150-point loss and an 80-point loss, more than likely.
And part of the problem here is the time he's losing on this turn with a very low-scoring play. And part of the problem is that he still needs 2 bingos, and he's not likely to have space on the board for 2 bingos. Or enough tiles left either.
Yep. Pint leaves 9 in the bag. So if Jesse plays 3, then he's going to preclude Evans from hitting 2 bingos.
Yeah, that's a very important point. You want to make sure that you do not leave 7 in the bag for your opponent at this point, so that there's no possible way he can make 2 bingos.
Yeah, remember Zev that this is 5-point challenge. He was definitely not losing this game by 5. So it's a good desperation just to make sure.
Yeah, in 5-point challenge, it's usually a lot better play to challenge something, even if you're 95, 98% sure it's fine. If the only way to win the game is for it to come off the board and you're 99% sure it's good, throw 5 points at it, see what happens. It's a lot different tactic than in TWL, where a challenge in that position would just be, throwing 40, 50 points of equity at a lost cause.
Oh, so it's sponging actually going to play here through the G and Guayak making GOE, which will not be enough to catch him up in the game, but at least make it a little closer and more stylish.
Evans, all about that style.
He is in many ways a style maven. The Scrabble fashionista, if you will. It is a waste to have the 5 points, but it's a very small waste. So,
yeah, this game is not going to be decided by those 5 points likely. But the other thing is that, to me, it's part of the argument of why the 5-point challenge rule is kind of too lenient. It makes for a lot of situations like that where you can kind of recklessly challenge because you're not giving up very much.
Yeah, so Jesse here, he's sitting on the J, and
Please do he takes out. But he doesn't draw.
yeah,
And the most important things here are he wants to play at least 3 tiles, not to leave 7 in the bag, and he wants to rid himself of the J just because of how much it cuts down on his flexibility.
Yeah. And playing Je at d4 also looks like it's going to disrupt all of the possible lanes Evans might have to play a bingo. Lead 6 in the bag. That play, it gives up a couple points over something like Jura that Jesse could play, but it's from a positional standpoint, it has a lot of benefits.
Really
there.
a non-difference here. He could play any of these plays and win 100% of the time.
Yeah, given that spread isn't going to come into play for the result of the tournament, it really doesn't manage. Sitting on a J is only painful if you have it turned right side up. It actually makes a nice chair upside down.
So he does take the points with Jura, it looks like.
I'm sure that Evans will appreciate in principle.
So Jura and then sponging comes down immediately.
Yep.
And Evans will draw the final 6 tiles from the bag, which painfully ends up includes the second blank, which will be a very
germiest, which is not going to quite fit, it looks like.
They cannot keep it.
Our score right now is Jesse is at 456 and Evans is at 392. He's in a position where if he had 7 tiles, Out Bingo has a chance of winning him the game, but unfortunately there is no bonus for playing all 6 tiles at once.
Mm-hmm. Just Mister through the S is a simple play here. Might be better, but that certainly does the job.
Grimes will score a little bit more.
So the players have it at 456 to 392, which is what the correct score is according to Quackle here as well. So it looks like there's no scoring discrepancies.
And yeah, it's something like Grimes or Mister, or all kinds of options on the A column Jesse has. They briefly stopped to recount the play, make sure Evans didn't score it by 60 points too many, thus giving him a chance to win the game. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Yeah, one of those 5-tile plays leaving Pet or Peg at top is probably a good way to play. It's just a matter of mathing it out.
Oh, yes.
Some intense mathing happening here. Quite a lot of mathing indeed. We have no results from other games, clearly this one was a very quickly played game on Evans' part. So we're probably not expecting any results yet. Evans is going to drop to 13-6, which, if depending on the result of this game, John Olaf and Evans will either be sitting second or third place going into the final round, and will likely play John or Dave second place in the final round of this event. And Jesse will enter into the sweet exclusively Gibson rule.
Do we have any news on TWL results yet, or is it too soon for that?
Don't have any TWL results yet on the scoreboard. Cecilia is playing Doug Brockmeyer. Cecilia, if she wins this game, she will clinch the tournament. Lisa Barahovich is in third, currently playing Adam Ginsberg, who's in fourth. And Cesar is playing Jerry Lerman. They currently sit fifth and sixth. Everybody from Doug down to Cesar is 13-5, one game behind Cecilia, and Jerry Lerman is at 12.5. Doug currently leads 310 to 268 over Cecilia, and Cecilia just bingoed with both flanks to close the gap to those 42 points.
Germinate would fit if he had that, but he has no A and 2 T's if he's playing through the NT, if that's where you're looking at.
Yeah, he's one off of Germinate. The NT are properly placed, but he would need an A instead of a T on the rack.
Yeah, unfortunately, his metering and regiment don't fit there. Looks like he's playing Grimes.
Going for the points.
Yeah, in the TWL division, if Cecilia were to fall to Doug Brockmeyer in this game, that would put us with 3 or 4 players tied at 14-5 into the final round. It'll be a pretty big free-for-all. Cecilia will have the edge in spread entering the final round, but it really is anybody's tournament in TWL should the current score with Doug's lead over Cecilia hold up.
So I think at this point we can safely say congratulations to Jesse Day, Luck Bag, for winning the Collins division of the 2016 California Open.
Yeah, strong performance in a pretty strong field. Jesse has drawn Luck Bag as his final rack appropriately.
And Evan symbolically plays loses.
Loses.
It looks like it's a 526 to 426 final. Jesse wins by exactly 100.
When did Evans know the game was lost?
So I see we had a comment from the Twitch chat about whether Myoid was the right play. I don't remember what the exact leave was on that play, but it's certainly a reasonable try in terms of scoring well and helping to open up the top of the board when Evans was trailing. So I really can't fault that play at all. It just happened that Jesse had great letters to take advantage of it, but you have to figure if Jesse's rack is that good, he's going to win that game anyway. So you have to play for the opponent not having such a strong rack.
Yeah, the leave on Myoid was NIT, and it doesn't look like there was much else in terms of scoring potential on the board. You could do something like there was a potential for MO between Guayak and making Ami and Kao, keeping 2 eyes and about 25-ish points. It doesn't really help you because you're keeping the double eye for a second turn, and it's not going to help you bingo soon. Maybe something like Miso underneath Braved, making Ami, Vin, and Do would be something reasonable. It scores less, but it doesn't open. But yeah, my seems
overall
like
in this game, Evans didn't really make any big mistakes. He just was victim to a lot of big plays, a lot of bingos early that put him down and was chasing. It seems to me if there was one place for minor improvement, it was perhaps playing Guayak for a higher score through the A and Yankee. It wasn't a huge difference in score, but I didn't see a good reason to sacrifice the points there. But other than that, I didn't really see anything that I would question.
Yeah, I think both players played a pretty solid game. Maybe some things at the margins that could have been different, but nothing that really sort of impacted or turned into a large problem. It was a pretty solidly played game.
All right, well, I think I'm going to drop off at this point, and I believe Benji is going to be taking over for commentary on the final round TWO game. So,
all right,
Chris,
thanks
it was good commenting with you.
Yeah, likewise.